Avery, whose show is this? And we're live. Welcome, everybody, here to the Lakers Lounge podcast. I'm Anthony Irwin, Senior Lakers Insider and lead Lakers creator for Offside, joined by my Offside brethren, Raj Chapalu. Raj, we just watched, like every season, you know, when you look back at the season, you know, and it's finally over, you kind of look back and you say, like, oh, that was like one of my favorite wins. That was a really fun win. That was a good one. This is going to be really high on my list. This one is going to be really, really high on my list. Going into Toronto, playing a team that the Lakers don't really match up all that well with. LeBron just can't throw a pea in the ocean. Austin could. And the Lakers find a way there at the end to win it. How you holding up, bud? I haven't touched the ground yet. I'm about as hyped for a regular season game against Toronto as one can possibly be.
Yeah, you know what? It feels a little weird watching the game from my couch. They've had so many home games, so it's been weird, like finally getting to sit down and watch it. And I found myself just standing up again, just watching this one. This was a really fun win. A lot of storylines, the ending especially. There's a lot to get into, but I'm happy for Rui, who's a guy who, you know, very polarizing player, carries the world of the Lakers on his shoulders, right? Every bad thing about this team can be put on him. I'm happy for him that he got a game winner out of it. But no, this was just incredibly fun. And I'm glad they were able to kind of get this win, since tomorrow they have to travel to Boston and play another one. But yeah, it's going to be one of my favorite wins as well. I thought this just really encapsulated what this team is throughout, especially even with Luca out, just how everyone picks up the slack. Nick Smith Jr., Adu Thiero, just so many guys to get into. But yeah, this is a really, really fun win.
And Gabe Vincent was there. Today on the show, we're going to be talking about that win. We'll break it down, you know, player by player, theme by theme, and, you know, take you through everything that you need to know about it. Obviously, LeBron is going to be a part of that conversation as well. And then, Raj, I'm just going to warn you.
Okay.
I haven't spoken to anybody about this Giannis Chris Paul stuff on the air yet.
Okay.
And
that's my favorite thing. Just, you know,
I'm itching to do it.
Yeah. That's my favorite thing to discuss. Trades in December. Perfect.
We have to, though. Like we
do we have, after
yeah, I think we do.
All right.
I definitely think we do. So that'll be at the back half of the show. Not even half. How about that, Raj?
That'll be on tonight's lowdown, like after the game.
No, I've already recorded a lowdown about it.
Oh, okay.
So like the lowdown was so packed. It was a 30-minute lowdown. It's supposed to be like 10 to 15.
Right. It's supposed to be a quick recap.
The problem is I combined the Giannis lowdown with the Chris Paul lowdown, and it was like,
like a double
long ass lowdown. A long Lakers lowdown is what it was.
It was just a down, no lowdown. Yeah.
It was just low. So yeah, we'll go ahead and talk about that the last like quarter or so of the show. And then, as we always do, we will get to as many of your comments and questions as we can. But yeah, the Lakers, I honestly don't even remember the final score here. Yeah, I guessed it right on Offside. I was like, shit, I don't know what the final score is. I'm pretty sure it was 123 to 120. And it was. The Lakers at one point held, you know, a few double-digit leads. They were up for the vast majority of the game, coughed up that lead in the third quarter. Kind of an ugly third quarter for everybody but Austin. And, you know, they were able to, you know, get enough stops and enough buckets down the stretch. One of the more memorable non-timeout calls that you will ever see. LeBron literally sitting on the bench.
Amazing.
And Austin's going down scoring. The whole building is like, and only Austin's like, I got fouled. I think Austin had a point too.
I think it was and one. Yeah.
They should have been up by one. And then the final play of the game. And actually, Raj, this is where I kind of wanted to start. I know I listed it as Austin take a bow, but I wanted to start with LeBron
Yeah.
The Lakers, I guess Austin ties the game at 120 with that layup that again probably should have been an M1. Toronto comes down. They they don't have the offensive talent really to create a very good shot there. So they just kind of run whatever they run. The Lakers scramble to get the ball there late. I know Raptors fans are probably going to feel like Laravia fouled whoever was attempting that layup at the rim. But regardless, the Lakers pick up that stop and bring the ball down the court. Did they call timeout? I don't think they did.
No.
They bring the ball down the court, and Austin starts with it. And Austin was having such an incredible night that they actually helped off of LeBron, which put him in wide open space. And I'm thinking, oh, he's 2 points away from 10 points. He's wide open. This is a shot. I mean, at worst, he misses this and you go to overtime and he almost definitely breaks the streak, keeps the streak alive in overtime. But no, apparently, according to Rui, I don't know if you saw this, Rui said that LeBron told him, hey, man, be ready in the corner. You're going to be wide open here.
Yeah.
And LeBron makes that skip pass that he's been making his entire career from the right wing to the left elbow or to the left corner. Rui knocks down the 3-pointer as time expires. And Raj, the first thing that I thought about, I know I made the point on Twitter. I saw you made the point on Twitter as well, that if there was a way for the streak to be snapped, this is the most LeBron way to do it. But I actually thought back to, I remember back when like that loser Skip Bayless started his entire career questioning LeBron's clutch gene, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the basis for him doing so started with games against the Washington Wizards back when they had like Deshaun Stevenson and Gilbert Arenas and that whole squad there. And LeBron made this exact pass, right wing, left corner, and his teammate just happened to miss the shot. And it led SportsCenter and it led First Take for like a whole fucking week about how LeBron isn't this, LeBron's that, he's not Michael, he's not Kobe. Those guys would take that shot. And at no point did it ever faze him. He never, at any point over the course of his career, while it was a solid like 3-4 years of this criticism, especially up until he finally won a championship with Miami. That's all that kind of followed him. He's not clutch. He's not this. He's not that. All LeBron kept saying is like, I'm always going to make the right play. I'm always going to make the right pass. If they hit the shot, awesome, but I'm not going to be selfish here and try to, force a shot when I know that there's a better one that one of my teammates can knock down. Rui on the year is, an incredible catch and shoot threat. So that was like I can literally picture that play against the Washington Wizards. It's from, if you were watching it from half court, he dribbles to his right. He gets double teamed at the elbow there. He throws that skip pass to the corner. I'm trying to think who shot.
Was it Boobie Gibson who shot that?
I think it was like, I think he's like Boobie Gibson. He misses the shot and LeBron just kind of like walks off of the court. He's like, that happens sometimes. And it was just this entire talking point for years, dude. Like, a long ass time.
Right.
And here we
LeBron,
are,
Kobe, Jordan,
in year
discussions.
23. Yeah, like he's not Kobe, he's not this. Here we are in year 23, still making that pass, still beating Toronto.
Yeah, it was representative of his career to me. He could have easily, Anthony. Who wouldn't, right? He has a streak that's unbreakable. That maybe one of the best streaks alive. I don't follow other sports, so I don't know what other sports have streaks like this. But this is the most impressive streak, at least in basketball terms.
1,297 games.
It's ridiculous.
Have you done anything successfully 1,297 times in a row?
I'm not sure if I remember to have breakfast 1,200 times.
No, I have definitely skipped breakfast.
Right.
At some point, I have kids. Like there are days where I just wake up like, shit, I don't even have time for a banana.
Right. There are days I have not seen the sun. Like that has happened before. Where it's like, man, I did not go outside today. No, that is an incredible streak, and it would have been very acceptable for him to catch it, because he had a lane, right? Austin got double teamed off the pick and roll, gave it to LeBron, his stampede cut that he got a drive, but he had Rui in the corner wide open. He decided to make that pass, foregoing his streak, sitting at 8 points. And this was kind of, he's been kind of playing with fire with this streak for a while now in terms of, the last game as well. But, I thought it was just indicative of his career. And to me, Anthony, indicative of this team, honestly. Like, I've just really enjoyed this team every day. Because it's our jobs now that we answer questions of what this team's ceiling is and how good are they? Can they catch OKC? All those questions I think will be answered in due time. But I'm enjoying watching this team grow. There's a lot of dudes on this team that fight like hell. Nick Smith Jr. comes in and goes, "Oh, it's my time. Like, we're in Toronto. I don't care. Like, Gabe Vincent, give me the ball. I'm stealing this, going the other way, hitting a mid-range fadeaway." I love that. I thought Duthiero's defensive disposition was really fun. But yeah, LeBron's pass to the corner there. Austin getting it off the pick and roll, not forcing it. Austin had 44. He could have easily been like, "I'm splitting this double. I'm getting a line. I'm getting fouled. This is my shot." But no, took what the defense gave him. Found LeBron, who found Rui in the corner. Just poetic, and again, just really representative of LeBron's career, and just a beautiful. If this streak had to end, that's the most beautiful way for it to end, right? Didn't it end on LeBron flailing a fadeaway, trying to get his vital 10-point, right? Air ball blocked, or something like that. It ended on a beautiful assist, which I think really sums up LeBron's game. The leading, like, he's the number one scorer, ever already. But he's more known for his passing, and that's why I think like his playmaking is what makes LeBron James. And I think that's what's so poetic and beautiful about this ending to that streak, is that came on a game-winning pass. You just could not have written a better story.
Did you see Avengers Infinity War and Endgame?
I believe so. I think I watched both of them in theaters, actually.
Okay.
Yes.
So you know how Doctor Strange tells Iron Man, if we're going to come out on top,
there's one.
I've run 14
right.
million scenarios or whatever the number is. And he says there's only one scenario here.
Right. This is the only scenario.
You know what I mean? Like that, isn't that perfect? Like
oh,
don't
it's
you
so
see
perfect.
like LeBron catches the ball at the right wing and he looks over at his left. And there's Doctor Strange. There's one way to win this game, LeBron. There's one way. You can take this shot and your streak will be alive, but you'll lose this game.
No hockey assist here. You can't be the swing guy. Like, this has to be the pass to the shot. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I'm just like, damn, that was so perfectly LeBron. And look, I think so. Two things also, and I promise we'll move on. We got to talk about Austin. He was incredible.
Yes.
But two more quick things here. One, obviously, I kind of sort of doubt Luca was watching, to be completely honest, because he's got a newborn, and
he said he doesn't watch the NBA, which I thought was very, I've heard him say that before, but every time he says it, it's pretty wild to hear him mention.
But so like I've had two newborns, and you're in survival now. My two newborns, I didn't have them with the amount of resources and support that I'm sure Luca has. So maybe it's like not quite apples to apples, but the last thing on my mind was like when I had Avery and when I had Miles, was like, all right, I got to watch tonight's Laker game. Like that was.
I might be different, future wife, if you're listening. I may act a little different than that, so that may not be the standard for all of us.
So I'm like, but anyway, like maybe Luca was watching, but this game, Raj, comes on the heels of Luca having a 48% usage rate, right? Okay. Last game against Phoenix, Luca has that 48% usage rate. And one of the kind of talking points that I've come back to a couple of times, Pete's made this point as well on the show, is that like when things don't look like they are going the best, Luca defaults to, all right, fuck it, I'll do it. Fine, I'll do it myself, And I think that like I can understand where that comes from, right? Like on the Slovenian national team, he hasn't had very much help ever. On most of those Dallas teams, he didn't have much help ever. But like in the times of his career where he really entrusted his teammates, right? Jalen Brunson. He had a lot of success with Jalen Brunson. Kyrie Irving, they get to the finals together. And I think on this team here, he shows up and maybe he had other things on his mind, seeing as he was about to fly out to Slovenia and have the second kid or whatever. Also a possibility here. But I just thought that like that 48% usage rate with LeBron on your team, with Austin on your team, is just a really ugly stat. Like that's not the kind of game that the Lakers need from Luca ever. And like you said it perfectly that Austin had every right in the world to be like, you know what, this is my game. I've carried us here. This is my game. This is my moment. He says, no, I see LeBron fucking James wide open. LeBron in that moment could have been like, I kind of sort of need to get to 10 points. I'm wide open. But instead he goes, no, you know what? I'm going to trust that Rui, who has been fucking nails all season, is going to hit this wide open shot. And that like, and look, I'm not calling Luca selfish. I think that's too derogatory a term. But I think that like the lesson from me out of this game is trust each other. There is so much offensive and connective talent on this team that the way that the Lakers are going to beat teams is with ball movement, with player movement, with trust, and with sacrifice. And I thought tonight was kind of the nth degree example of those things.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like you said, it's not calling Luca selfish. I think there's a way to maximize this big three that they haven't found yet, right? And I think a lot of this also is LeBron has earned every mile of benefit of doubt any player can have. So I'm not making any conclusions yet in terms of his physicality and what he can get to. But there's definitely another tier to me where this big three can get. Austin's leap, and look, I thought he was a star last year. I think he's jumping into all NBA territory, may already have. Most players jump into all-star territory. That's what Stu Lance and Billy Mack were discussing. My head, he's already jumping into all NBA territory, which changes the dynamic of this big three, right? No matter how you slice it, it changes how you.
The season thinking Austin was the third best player on this team. He's the second.
Right now he is for sure. And so, yeah, that dynamic has changed. And so I remember we would do this pod all the time, Anthony. And remember how many times like the discussion was, I'm not comparing the two players or their careers, but the discussion was, when is Anthony Davis gonna when is LeBron gonna hand the keys over to AD?
No. Like, when's Anthony gonna take the keys? Yeah, LeBron kept trying to give him the keys. And Anthony's like, I had an extra glass of wine. Like, okay, I probably shouldn't drive. Like, this is not my LeBron. Can you?
Those are words by Anthony Irwin. But no, I just mean like this is never a clean process where the person who had it before hands it to you in a clean kind of ceremonial way, right? This is, like you said, this is taken. This is earned and taken. And I feel like you're kind of seeing this with the backcourt now. And I thought this game was very enlightening. Not just LeBron not being able to get it going. Like, that's going to happen at his age. And, there's going to be nights where he can't shoot the ball. But fourth quarter, Anthony, it was Austin Reaves. Like, no, I'm running every ball screen. We cut him out of a timeout, down 1, 3-4 minutes left against this like really hungry Raptors team. They run a ball screen for Austin Reaves and DeAndre Ayton, and he finds Ayton on the lob. I find that, I'm not saying Austin has completely taken over the reins from LeBron or something like that, but I think you're seeing a shift at least in kind of play style and usage, as you talked about. And again, I think that's the next kind of ramp for this team to take is Luca, LeBron, and Austin finding ways to be aggressive together. Because I think you're right. Luca's going to come out and shoot 8 times in the first quarter. Like, that's just not, or 10 times, whatever it is. He'll let success be his guide within that. If you allow him to get 30 in the quarter, he will. But I think still as the game goes on, defenses tighten, their schemes get a little bit more particular in who they're trying to stop. I think they're going to have to find ways to work together. But yeah, tonight I think it showed the Lakers have multiple guys, even with Luca out, when Austin sits, LeBron sits, they can survive offensively because they have just 3 monster creators on the floor. And that's something they can continue to build with.
I also thought that Austin dominating the fourth like that was also kind of a LeBron decision.
Yeah, like, for sure.
LeBron was the one who was handing the ball to Austin and being like, hey, man, I'll set you this screen. And like part of that maybe was that I think LeBron LeBron, I think knew. I think my internet's kind of being funny, but
Yeah, I can hear you
I
though.
think LeBron knew that he wasn't going to be able to score on Scotty in ISO, right? Like Scotty Barnes like blocked his shot on the fadeaway, which was like, holy shit, Scotty Barnes, that dude. Like, I know there's a lot of focus on Giannis, but if the Raptors ever decide to trade Scotty Barnes, could I? Whew, that dude's a player.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Scotty Barnes, but I thought like Sabrina sent Sabrina. I hope I'm not going to out you here, but she sent a Slack message where she was like, the streak is getting a little nervy. And
Mhm.
I had the reason I'm saying this is because I thought the exact same thing. I was about to put that in the Slack. Like, I'm actually a lot more nervous about the streak this game than I was last game, because this is a close game. This is a game that the Lakers can win, and it's gonna like the immovable object and unstoppable force at play here is gonna be LeBron's streak versus LeBron's propensity for like playing for the win, and like I never thought that he would ever sacrifice
Right.
a win for a streak. So that's why I thought to myself, like, I actually don't think he's gonna get there. I don't, we're running through possessions and I'm counting the possessions and I'm like, he has 2 possessions here. He has 1 possession. Oh my God, he used the 1 possession on this
Right.
pass to Rui. And so but I actually thought that LeBron made the decision about midway through the 4th quarter. Actually, when he subbed back into the game, I think he made the conscious decision, like, I don't even care about the streak anymore. Austin,
Yeah.
this is your game. You got us here. You take us home. And I thought, and by the way, obviously he hasn't done that at the cost of a streak before, but he's been doing this with Austin for years,
Sure.
plural. And he had a quote the other night after one of Austin's games recently where he had like 38 points on 14 shots or
Right.
whatever it was. And they asked LeBron about it. And he said, I've been telling you guys this for years.
Right.
Austin can fucking play, and I just think like it's so rare that LeBron trusts a player to the extent that he trusts Austin. And if those 3 guys can get on that same level of trust and consistently operate at that level of trust and aggression, shared aggression, then yeah, I think that's when this team really hits its turbo speed.
I wish LeBron was like, yeah, I was telling you when he was at Arkansas, like this guy, like, I was telling you when he was in college. I knew this is gonna
I don't
happen.
quite believe, but sure.
No, but no, I think LeBron's had Austin's earned LeBron trust a long time ago, but this still feels like a different level, right? I mean, he's averaging 28 a game.
Well, let's talk about that. I
Yeah.
wanted to bring this up. I sent this tweet a second ago. The most improved player award, right? Austin
Right.
has been in the league. This is his 5th year in the league. Since he's
Mhm.
come into the league, his point totals, points per game average has gone 7.3 to 13. That's almost doubling. And then
Right.
from 13 to 15.9. And
Mhm.
then from 15.9 to 20.2, which means in 2 seasons, he almost doubled that point total again. And then it went from 20.2 last year to 28.1 points per game so far this season. He's averaging 40 points in games that Luca doesn't play, which, by the way, again means that like all Austin has done over his last 4 years is every other year basically double his point totals, his point averages. All of his other counting stats have gone up too, by the way, every year. His rookie season, 2.4, or no, we'll go so his rookie season, he averaged 3.2 rebounds a game. That dipped to 3 his second year. Then it jumped to 4.3. Then it jumped to 4.5. Now it's up to 5.7. His assist totals have gone from 1.8 to 3.4 to 5.5 to 5.8 to now 6.6. Like, and by the way, he's only getting more efficient too. Like last year, he shot 46% from the field. He's up to 52% from the field this season. He's shooting 36% from 3 this year on 9 attempts per game. he's getting to the free throw line 9 times a game. He's shooting 88% from the free throw line. I don't like if he doesn't win most improved player. Like if there was any kind of vote for most improved player right now, and anybody voted for anybody else, I would say that person does not watch basketball. That person is not allowed to talk about basketball for 1 month. Go sit in timeout. You're not allowed to talk about it.
I wonder if he's too good for this award, right? Like the award kind of goes to a player that people are. My favorite thing right now at games is, I won't out who they are, but people will come up to you and be like, "Hey, you were right. Like Austin's a superstar." I was like, man, I've been trying to tell people since last year.
Yeah.
Like the jump has now came because of the volume, and obviously he's improved. But I wonder, Anthony, if he's too good for the most improved player award, right? That award usually goes to a player
Fuck
that.
that. Absolutely not.
I
don't know.
No,
Absolutely
if you were going to give it to any, like, I think he's earned the award. He probably could have got it last year. I think he was in the run.
He's barely been in the conversation for the award. I don't know if he's gotten votes for the award at any point in his career.
Yeah, I don't remember. I thought last year he was at least in the running for it. Who won it last year? Do you know off the top of your head?
Shit, it wasn't Austin. like here's my thing. Like we do this. Didn't Cade win it, or like weren't they trying to give it to Cade for like a chunk of the season? It's like that's a number 1 overall pick. It's just his year 2 to year 3 improvement. What are we doing here? This is Austin, who's been an undrafted player. He went from being an undrafted player to, I agree with you, Raj. He's an all-NBA talent. He's playing at an all-NBA level this year. He's going to be an all-star if he remains healthy and plays anything like he has been playing for the next couple of months or next month or so. Like this, unbelievable what he's doing. And yeah, like if anybody tries to like twist and turn themselves into some kind of a pretzel to explain that no, actually Austin he's been in the league too long, or he's been this, and he doesn't, and if they use any kind of reasoning to not vote for Austin for all or most improved player, that just tells me you aren't going to, like, Lakers can't win awards. Like that's it. That's all that is. It's like the Anthony Davis could not win Defensive Player of the Year while he was with the Lakers. Austin Reaves cannot win Most Improved Player of the Year with the Lakers. In a year where Rob Pelinka trades for Luca in a trade that was so one-sided that the entire league was pissed about it, he doesn't get Executive of the Year. Like, let's just come out and say it. The Lakers are not allowed to win awards. Like, if that's what we're doing, and 29 other teams get to be eligible for these awards, then that's what we're doing.
So to make your point, I'm shocked at this because I didn't even follow this last season. The winner of Most Improved last year was Tyrese Maxey, who I think makes some sense, right? I think Tyrese Maxey kind of had this jump last season. But Austin didn't even get a vote. It went Kobe White, Sengun, Jalen Williams, Jalen Brunson. Denny Avdia, I think, is like the leader this year for that award, which again, kind of player on a bad team that's, putting up some numbers, but I think Avdia's played well. I'm with you though. I think Austin's been the most improved this season. Now, again, will the media or whoever votes on this says, he's too good for this award? I'm not sure. Maxey averaged 26 a game last year and got it. So if Austin keeps up his 28 a game, he might be in the running. He might win this award. But even if winning this award or not, Austin Reaves becoming an all-NBA player is such an incredible thing for the Lakers this season. Like, that is an incredible jump just from talent, his development. Usually, again, the pathway is usually all-star. You make your first all-star team, then you make the all-NBA team. He's kind of cutting right through that, getting right into all-NBA. I think he's going to make all-NBA if he continues this kind of numbers that he's at. But yeah, Tyrese Maxey last year. Second place, Anthony, is Kobe White. Average around, Kobe White averaged 19 a game last year on a terrible Bulls team.
Well, apparently, Tam the Pessimist here with a comment that the year that Maxey won it, he jumped from 25 points per game to 26 points per game. So,
what are we doing?
Should he have won it? I don't think he should have. But anyway, let's go ahead and I want to talk about Austin in this game specifically. In that, like, the knock on Austin this season has been he doesn't handle physicality, he doesn't handle length, he doesn't handle athleticism very well. Now, Toronto's guards aren't the like most lengthy and athletic and physical guards that Austin has played. But the thing with Toronto is once you get past that initial layer, you have nothing but arms. You have Scotty, his name may as well be Scotty Barnes. You have Brandon Ingram right there with all of the arms that he has. You have active players like Mamu, and who's the other center that they had?
Battle.
No, it was just like WCB. What's his name? Collins Boyles or something like that. Like,
okay.
like you had all of these. You have all of these. Long and athletic. And by the way, the referees were kind of letting him play a little bit tonight too. Like Austin had that solid scratch on his right arm as well. And so like, look, if I'm going to criticize the way that Austin looks against some of these other more physical and athletic and lengthy teams, then I also have to give him a ton of credit for playing like this against a long, athletic, physical, talented, aggressive team.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I guess I got it wrong. Dyson Daniels, I guess, won it last year. So I got a little confused on the years who won
Okay.
it. But in any case, no, yeah, I mean, Toronto doesn't have the guards, but they have a bajillion wings. I mean, Ingram, Scotty Barnes, obviously RJ Barrett was out. I like their coach, and he does a lot of kind of interesting defensive game plans. He will trap you and blitz you in all kinds of places. And Austin's jump to me as a pull-up jump shooter, that has just changed his trajectory by miles, right? Like he's had this other stuff, getting to the free throw line, the mid range, the floaters, the ability now to come off a screen, Anthony, and pull. Like that's a skill you develop. Like that's not, you just, most players don't walk in the league with that. Steph, Dame are two guys I think that kind of walked in the league, but a lot of guys kind of develop that, especially an on-ball player like him, and that's changed his game. That jumps you from, what did he average last year? 20, 21. That jumps you from that to 28. Those threes, the extra point, getting fouled on threes, right? Having guys fly at you, and then his playmaking jump is just, to me, he's at
so
another
much
level.
stronger too. Like
Stronger, he can body up. He's now dishing out contact instead of being able to go through it, right? Or being able to absorb it. There's a difference between absorbing contact and dishing it out. He's flexing for and 1s now. I think he said he gained like 20
and there's
pounds.
actually muscle when he flexes.
right. Yeah.
Like last year he would go like and one, and I'm like, you might want to wear a t-shirt, but like this year it's like, you know what? There's a tricep there.
Yeah. But
You
a lot of
what?
So like a lot of the and 1s, I think previously were kind of where he'd get 2 free throws. Now he's finishing a lot of these and 1s, right? He's actually going and making the basket. I think that's the jump in physicality for him. But just watching him now, not just read a defense, but manipulate it. Like that's the jump now from, not only am I reading what you're doing, I'm forcing you now to guard me here so I can find Ayton on the lob. I can get the skip pass to Laravia. I can find LeBron on the bounce pass like that. So then again, when you're playing with Luca, this much, I'm sure there's things that cross over as well. But Austin's just taken an incredible jump. And yeah, 28 points a game. I think our friend Daman just, tweeted out the amount of the players that right now are averaging 28 and the assists and rebounds that he does is like him, Giannis, Luca, and Jokic, and those are the only 4 guys in the league doing that right now. Lakers somehow have 2 of them, but yeah, only 4 guys in the league averaging 28, 6, and 5. Luca, Austin, Giannis, and Jokic. Not bad company.
Efficiently and for a winner too, by the way. Like you mentioned Avdia earlier, and like Portland, they're a fun story and stuff like that, but they aren't the 2 seed.
Right.
Like they aren't 9-2 on the road.
Yeah.
It's not a thing.
To me, that's somebody tweeted this, and I don't remember. Apologies, not giving credit. They said like a good indication of a good team is road wins minus home losses is kind of a good barometer for how good of a team you are. They just have 9 road wins in 11 games. That's a lot of road wins. They obviously haven't played that many East Coast teams, but still getting 9 out of 11 road wins. I think that's very indicative of this is a team that's good. Their game can travel, right? Their defense sometimes doesn't, but their game can at least travel to different places, and they can have consistent game plans for a team that's going to win 50 plus games.
All right. We are going to Is there anything else from this game that you wanted to talk about?
Yes, two things. I
Okay.
want to give just Nick Smith Jr. Shout him out earlier, but I thought he kind of changed the game to me when he came in a little bit.
Mhm.
Just gave a little boost of energy that they needed. You need I don't know how to explain it, Anthony, but I feel like every good team has a player that doesn't play but believes they're better than the guy playing ahead of them. You know what I mean? Like it feels like Nick Smith comes in and goes, like, why am I the 15th man on this team? Like he comes in mid-range pull up, corner threes, getting steals. I just love that kind of energy from him where he's not passive when he gets in the game, doesn't just try to play his position. He attacks in a way that I think is important. And the other guy I think is Adu Thiero. I thought Adu's minutes were awesome. I thought he came in, had a really athletic profile to him, had an and one finish. I thought his defense on Brandon Ingram was really, I thought he affected Brandon Ingram, which is an amazing thing to say. Jake LaRavia, by the way, his defense on Brandon Ingram. But those two guys, Nick Smith and Adu Thiero, kind of showed like there's some young legs that on an East Coast road trip,
Hungry
you need
legs.
young, hungry legs. And
Like
yeah, I'm keep
those
bringing
guys
it
are
up.
looking for like, cracks in the rotation to maybe try to slip in there too. Cause Thiero especially, man. Like
Have you
I
crossed
tweeted this
over?
out. I completely stand by it. And I'll
Yeah.
give you credit because you
Yeah.
saw some of this coming. Okay. And Pat, I think I saw you earlier. Are you going to take back some of the Adu can't help the season? I'm not going to take it back quite yet all the way because JJ Redick doesn't seem to think that Adu can help this season. But what I will say though about Adu, and it actually kind of surprises me and really intrigues me for him moving forward. You ever seen anything or played in youth sports against a kid who got held back?
Of course.
Like I had a buddy, actually he's in the Cavs organization now, Mike Garrity. I think he's an assistant coach there. And we were in grade school all the way up until high school together, and then his like last year there, he in 8th grade, he stayed back a year and went on to Mater Dei a year later. And I, technically speaking, I could have done the same thing. He and I were like talking about, should we do this together? I decided to move on. He decided to stay back. Well, he played in AAU ball that year with like the same team, and he was like a year older. And when he finally went to Mater Dei, he started point guard for Mater Dei. I think at one point, I don't know if he still does, he held the Mater Dei record for assists over the course of his career there. And um, and I remember going to like some of Mike's games when he was an 8th grader playing against 8th graders, and it was like, this is mean. This this is just so mean. And actually, another like detour to the detour. Eventually, I saw when Mike was at Mater Dei, his Mater Dei team played against LeBron's St. Vincent, right?
Yeah.
Or no,
Mhm.
was it? It was St. Vincent Seminary, right? And so like so LeBron goes on this national high school tour. One of the teams that they play against is Mater Dei when Mike was there. And Mike, for the vast majority of my childhood was like the best basketball player that I knew.
Mhm.
And LeBron shows up and beats Mike's team like single-handedly. And I'm like, oh my God. That's
Yeah.
when I decided I'm never like I have zero chance at ever making $1 playing basketball because like I have to compete against that guy.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. But anyway, watching Thiero move out there is like watching an 8th grader play against
Yeah.
actual 8th graders out there because he moves from space to space so quickly, and he's also so filled out. It's not like like Ingram still to this day still looks so small and frail out there. And he's even filled out a little bit. Dude's probably got like 20, 30 pounds on him.
Yeah. That dude's the first player where I watched and went, that dude already has his NBA body, right? Like even as young as he is, like he's
He's
already
he's
got
gonna get stronger. He's
yeah.
gonna get more explosive. That's what happens to these guys. They enter the league, even if they're already strong and explosive, they actually find new levels because those $1 billion organizations, they find
they
new
invest
ways
in.
for you to become even more athletic.
It reminds me of like Lou Dort with crazy hops. It's the weirdest
Yeah.
archetype, that you could have, but it's extremely helpful for this Laker team, and that's why I saw 2 games in person and went, "Oh no, that guy needs to play." Like that guy needs like that guy does not need to be running around El Segundo anymore. Like get him in, and I kind of want to see him again. I'm glad he didn't just play in garbage time, right? Like they could have easily not played him tonight, but I kind of like getting the rookies in the fire and letting them feel the burns, right? And like
Mhm.
what the recovery of those burns are. Because if you're just playing in garbage time, late game, I said this with a lot of other young guys that we've had, but I just don't think you get very much, not just from film, but like I don't think the guys actually develop much either, right? Like I don't think there's a lot to gain from
I
playing.
actually think you can develop some bad habits in garbage time.
Right, so you can even have the other side of this, but
Yeah.
that's where I think a guy like Adu, or even if he's can't shoot, right, makes all these mental mistakes, just having him in the fire, kind of learning on the fly, I think is super helpful.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how JJ handles this, because there are some players above him at his position that Rui is currently starting. Jake LaRavia is a 20-ish minutes a night guy. Jared Vanderbilt's already lost his spot, so you don't have to worry about that. It's going to be. I still am a little skeptical that he's going to get the kind of opportunity that we're hoping for. But when you go out there, what was he out there for 4 minutes? And he scored 4 points, a steal, and I think an assist, or maybe or a rebound.
Yeah,
And there was just like never a single second that he was out there. And I think part of it is like confirmation bias, right? I'm watching him in particular while he's out there, but there was never a minute. Like there are entire like 10-minute stretches where I'm like, oh, Rui's been playing, huh? Like, you know, or like there are some times where I used to be watching Vando play, and it's like, damn, I really wish I didn't notice this guy as much. Like do is neither of those things.
right. No, you definitely know his athleticism pops off the screen in a way where he can't really hide. He also has so much pent up like potential energy that it's coming off the bench that he needs to
I'm surprised
unleash.
he doesn't jump off of the bench.
Right.
Like JJ like calls out Adu. Like,
Yeah,
he's
incredible
so
athlete.
good. I think he's going to be legit. I hope he can stay healthy, because he is really. He has a really bright future ahead of him. All right, Raj, we've been talking about this game for 42 minutes and 46 seconds and counting.
Okay.
Do you want to start with Chris Paul, or do you want to start with Giannis?
Let's get Chris Paul out of the way, like the Clippers did. No, but like let's just. No, I'm just kidding. Like let's. That was mean. I'm actually a big Chris Paul fan.
That was what Ty Lue said to James and Kawhi. Like a 3-person meeting. They're like, all right, man, we got to get this guy out of here. James is like,
You think Zubac was in this
37th
meeting?
time this month? Kawhi's like, he asked me to play. And Ty Lue's like, he made a Chauncey joke to me. So yeah.
Yeah, let's start with Chris Paul. We could do that.
All right. So the Clippers send Chris Paul home.
Yeah.
And shocking, because he's the best player in their franchise's history, especially since they've moved to LA. And he basically helped put them on the map. They were a joke for the vast majority of all of our lives. Then Lob City happens. He holds things together during the Donald Sterling saga, and like somehow made Lob City happen despite Donald Sterling still being their owner. You know how hard that is to do, to overcome your owner to that extent, the way that they did. They never got over the hump, in large part because Donald Sterling was their owner. But that's still like every Clippers fan's favorite stretch of their organization.
Oh yeah.
And obviously he eventually pieces out. They eventually piece Blake Griffin out. And so the two best players in the modern history of the Los Angeles Clippers Blake Griffin and Chris Paul, they both unceremoniously told them, "Va con Dios, get out of here." And this time they made this big stink about like Chris Paul's going to be here. He's going to retire a Clipper. This is a really important thing. He was also seen as this like important depth piece too, which made me a little nervous for like the, you know, what their expectations were this season. But still, you know, they, like 4 days ago, they tweeted out that like Chris Paul's gonna retire at home, and it's like, oh, that's what you meant. Oh, good to know. So yeah, I truly like from a organizational reputation standpoint, I don't think there's any coming back from this. I truly don't. You're doubling down on Lawrence Frank, the architect of whatever this diarrhea spill of a roster is, and you're doubling down on Ty Lue, somebody who hasn't been able to get over the hump with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, even at their best. And I mean, a conclusion that I think is altogether reasonable for anybody watching on the outside looking in is, are you doubling down on those people because they know the facts about aspiration? That's a question worth asking. And they tell Chris Paul to go home because he was hard on those people. Lawrence Frank just, you know, today, not announced publicly, leaked and reported that he's going to get an extension. That's been the case heading into the season. That's been out there heading into the season. I in Slack told you guys this yesterday. Just wait until the extension stuff comes out. And I think you replied, Clippers fans will riot. Turns out they're too beaten down to riot. So yeah, this has been out there. This has been a thing that has been in the works. And I think the only conclusion I can really logically get to is that Steve Ballmer doesn't want to fire the guy who knows where the trees are buried.
Yeah, just with the Chris Paul thing, he's one of the players that, you know, as I'm getting older and we enter like a meme phase of sports where Chris Paul has been joked about so much, and he's kind of one of the faces of ring culture in terms of he doesn't have one. Prime Chris Paul was a freaking monster, and so I was lucky enough to watch him live. It was my first game I went to. 35-15, destroyed the 09 Lakers, who repeated. Right, just I saw a 6-foot dude do that. I was like, holy crap, this guy's incredible. So Chris Paul deserves the flowers that, you know, he should get. That doesn't mean he's not an a-hole at times. Doesn't mean that he doesn't rub a ton of people the wrong way. I think Chris Paul always, and this has kind of been his kind of his reputation, right? He's always been the right message. Like his message is always correct. He's always the wrong messenger though, right? Sometimes you don't want the 6-foot dude telling you when you're like 7 foot, hey, you got to rebound, or like you got to get back on defense, or all this type of stuff. I'm sure that gets annoying, but just from a Clippers perspective, yeah, I mean, some of this is, I think they want to have as much continuity as possible because they know there's probably a lot of teardown that's coming, or even if it's not from the coaches and the executive, wherever it's going to be, the heads usually roll after a season like this. And also, I mean, people say things publicly all the time that don't really happen in terms of action. How many teams have backed their coach with their coach getting fired 2 months later? And that's something that's happened very many times. Ty Lue has not been extended, or maybe I don't remember what his extension was, but they're in just a tire fire. And I think all of this is just surrounded. Chris Paul, you know, walked in the Clippers. Like, you know, you ever have your house and then you leave for a while, you come back, like, what is all this on the floor? Like, why is there mud on the ceiling? Right. Chris Paul came.
I have 2 kids and I walk into their rooms all the time. And I'm like, how did you do this?
Right.
In my own office, I could pan I don't think I can actually pan the camera down. The kids have been in my office because of Thanksgiving break and stuff like that. It'll never look the way that it did before Thanksgiving break.
Right.
And so, yeah, like Chris Paul is like, what did you do to my office?
Chris Paul's like, the coach lives in Vegas. The star player lives in San Diego. Like, what do we, but like, you know, like he probably walked in and just does not understand what's going on in terms of the organization that he gave his life to, poured his kind of life into before obviously leaving to Houston. But yeah, it's a weird situation. I think Chris Paul is going to play. I just can't imagine Chris Paul, this is how he retires. Like, there's no way. This dude is too competitive of a psycho. he wants to go out on his terms, and I just can't imagine his terms as being sent home by, a bunch of people he probably sees as not the right guys to kind of tell him what to do. So I'd be interested to see what his next team is. The Lakers have an open roster spot. I don't think that's likely. I don't think that's gonna happen. But I'm sure they'll be connected in some way. I'm sure Chris Paul is gonna connect with a bunch of other teams and try to go out on his terms and have a farewell tour the way he can. But it's strange. It must I wonder what was the final straw in that. Like, you know how public of a thing this is to do this at 3 a.m. in a Miami airport to tell Chris Paul, we don't want you here. Like, your farewell tour doesn't matter. Go home. We can't deal with you. I'm shocked that it's got to this point, that it's gotten so public so already.
The thing is, they've kind of sort of told us what the final straw was, or what the straws compiled were.
Yeah.
Right. He held them to account. Like, what grander statement of loserdom exists than the Clippers being like, yeah, we're in the cellar of the West. We were a team with a over-under heading into the season of 50 plus, like, and we're just this complete tire fire. Chris Paul told us that we're a complete tire fire, and that was too hard for us to hear. What? That's crazy. Absolutely nuts. Let's move on to Giannis, though, because this one actually does impact the Lakers. I've reported this on already. I just don't see the Lakers, unless like a trade happens where like they trade away Gabe Vincent, or somebody gets hurt, or a few people get hurt. I just don't see Chris Paul winding up on the Lakers. But the Giannis stuff does impact the Lakers, and the Giannis stuff, like, for a little while there was a moment where it looked like he might have torn his Achilles. Thank goodness he didn't. But with him being, only having that calf strain, and those trade rumors aren't going to go anywhere. That conversation that he and his camp want to have with the Milwaukee Bucks is still on. That's still supposed to take place in the next couple of weeks. And I think that, those chances of trading that first round pick for a win now player, they dissipated quite a bit, if not disappeared. Because if you're the Lakers, Shams reported that, the Knicks were the only team earlier, in the offseason that Giannis wanted to go to at the time. They didn't have a competitive offer for the Bucks, and thus, that window closed. And now Shams says the expectation is the list of teams that Giannis will want to go to or be open to going to will expand. And if you're the Lakers, you're going to wait until you are not on that list, and you are definitively told, yeah, sorry, I want to stay in the East. I want to have it be a quicker trip to Greece or whatever it is. Until you are definitively told, or you find out definitively that Giannis is off of the table for whatever reason, the Lakers are not going to do anything that would call into question their chances at landing him, whether it's at this deadline or after this season. My question to you, Raj, is this, though, because all of that kind of goes without saying. My question to you is this, genuinely. Does Austin have, I think he's off the table.
I said that a few weeks ago and people called me nuts. And obviously I think I still stand on that.
I think Austin, if you put him on the table, that is a better offer than any other team can put together. Like, if Austin is on, if the Lakers do put Austin on the table, which I can't say whether they will or they won't. I can't speak.
He's not on. He's definitely not on first, second, and third iterations of this negotiation. That is way deep in, that is 10 drinks of whiskey down. They're like, oh, we got to get this done. It's February, whatever, and Giannis still hasn't been traded. That's but I don't think Austin's in any of these iterations in these conversations. I'd be surprised if he is, but
Yeah. So my reasoning for it also is like New York, they don't want to give up either of their wings. They don't want to give up Mikal Bridges. They don't want to give up OG Anunoby. Austin's better than both of those players. So like if New York can sit here and say, yeah, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. Well, then the Lakers can sit here and say, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. And that's
right.
exactly how I felt about the Anthony Davis trade stuff back when it was happening. When like the Celtics were like, yeah, I don't want to include Jason Tatum. I was like, okay, cool. Then I don't want to include Brandon Ingram.
Right.
Like I remember when the Knicks, the Knicks didn't want to include Kevin Knox or whatever that guy said.
Oh, right. Who then
I was
played like
fuck
summer
it, I'm
league the
not
next
including
year.
Josh Hart.
Yeah, that one was wild.
Like,
yeah.
But that's my point here is that like, look, all of these stars when they get traded, it's always for less than you anticipate it's going to be. And the Lakers currently have Luca, who is like the nth degree example of this. If the Lakers didn't have to trade Austin for Luca, I don't know that I'm putting Austin on the table for Giannis, who is 6 years older than Luca.
Right. I mean, I think if you take that around, some people would say, well, what do the Bucks get by even like the Bucks now should move totally into young player on a cheap contract that, you know what I mean? Like that's not about to get paid so they can clean out their books. Now, obviously Austin, I think would be the best player involved in any of these discussions. Cause obviously you're not putting, Luca's not
Because like
going
I
and
saw
all.
people saying like, oh, well, the Hawks could include Trae Young, and I'm like, Austin's better than Trae Young.
Right. Well, at least in a trade piece for sure. But I think with these trades, they always get seen as like a bidding war, right? Where every team throws down their best offer, and it's like people are throwing OKC, San Antonio into this. San Antonio, I understand, but OKC into this because they got a million picks or whatever. Giannis has a year left. Like he has so much more leverage here than even in most star trades, right? And you look at even I think if you go back, like we played the Toronto Raptors today. Obviously, it's in a different tier fully, but go look at what Brandon Ingram was traded for, and it's like 1 first, and I forgot even the players that he went for. But these star trades don't really pull, and I think we had this conversation on this show where we went into why role players pull so many more assets is because usually they have not asked for a trade. So the bridge has not been burned. The team wants to keep them. Mikal Bridges went for 5 first, right? Rudy Gobert went for 5 first or whatever he did. But that's not really how star trades work. If you're trading for Giannis, he's probably forcing his way there as much as he wants to be the good guy in this. I just don't think that's how this works. You don't get to leave a city and be the hero unless your name is Luka Doncic. But other than that, like most stars who leave cities do become villainized in some way. And I'd expect this same situation to happen here. But yeah, it's interesting to think about. Lakers don't really have, I mean, but the other side of the coin is if you take Austin off the table, then it's really just a platter of expiring contracts, a Dutiro, right? A first round pick, swaps. You could trade him into space later in the summer, but for right now, plus Austin only makes 15 right now, right? So if you wanted to get this deal done in the next 2 months, it becomes even more tricky. Plus Austin's a free agent this summer, and Austin has zero loyalty in Milwaukee. Like, I'm an unrestricted free agent. I can go anywhere I want.
I've thought about that though, but I don't think he would rustle feathers with the team that could pay him the most this upcoming offseason. Like I don't think that would be very wise to basically like, make it known I'm not re-signing with you guys. Okay, cool. So that just took away the most money that you could possibly make.
It's not that, it's the risk Milwaukee takes by that being the main, because if you get Austin Reaves, the Lakers aren't giving you much else, right? You take Austin, that's what you get out of this deal. Lakers aren't giving you Austin plus first plus swaps. It's most likely going to be Austin, and that's pretty much all you get. And so the risk for Milwaukee is, Austin may stay, but he has the power to leave this summer, which makes this deal even more tricky. But to your original question, I don't think Austin's in this deal. I don't even think he's on the table. Again, what happens in 3 months, who knows? But for right now, I'd be shocked if that's the conversation that they're having right now.
I don't, to the best of my knowledge, if there has been any conversation, it's been in like very, very cursory. Like it's very, Milwaukee has to figure their shit out first before they even start talking to teams about Giannis.
Right.
So like they have to figure out if Giannis is actually going to be committed or not committed. And then those conversations will start. So to be absolutely clear, Austin isn't on the table right now because there is no table. They're waiting for the table to appear. But I do get,
the table's set up. There's chairs around it.
Yeah, I know. Like
there's a nice
it's just
tablecloth.
the
They already got a cover for it. There's some snacks on the table. There's waters put for everyone around there.
Like, yeah, it's just sure.
There's just no one sitting there yet, but it's set up.
Oh no. I disagree. There are
there?
29 teams sitting at the table. There's nobody sitting on the other side of the table.
29 teams ran up, pull the chair themselves. We got it. Don't worry. We'll get our own chair. We'll stand. You know what I mean?
Milwaukee won't even put like cheese curds on the table because they don't even want to know that it's their table. Like they're just like there was that funny report that apparently Giannis looked into Chicago and Chicago was like, no, I just can't believe that's true. I cannot believe that Chicago would be like, yeah.
What part of that is most unbelievable? That Giannis called Chicago or that Chicago answered and said no?
Like, we're good.
I don't know which one is more shocking to me out of that. I don't even remember where that report came from, but that Giannis picked up a phone and go, let me call.
Yeah, Rihanna DM me, and I was like, sorry, I'm married.
Right. Yeah. I blocked her number. That's what it was.
Stop bugging me, man. Like I just all right, Raj. Oh no, shit. We have starred comments to get to, and we had a request for those starred comments. So first, I'll play the most important, especially ahead of tomorrow night's game. But also, we had a request for this one, which doesn't make any sense because Luca or Jokic didn't play in this game. But that last, like him just floating downward like that, is my favorite. I might make that my avatar. Like I might make that my Avi. They don't even call them Avies anymore, huh? On Twitter.
Do they know
what they call them now?
Okay.
First starred comment here comes from Brandon Omeng, who writes, no more Gabe minutes, please. He sucks and is too damn small. They're still going to be a thing. I regret to inform you that the beatings will continue.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with the premise. I'm good on Gabe from here on out.
Gabe's an interesting kind of, because I think how he's viewed publicly is just not how he's viewed within the team at all. And I think he has the most wide range in that. Where I think Gabe does his job, and sometimes his job is to get beat up in the post and get beat on the boards, and but his job is to fight like within that. And I think he does that successfully, if that makes sense. I don't know. I just think it's interesting. Like people put up his stat line every day, Anthony, and they send it to me. Gabe's averaging 2.3 or 3.8 points. Like that's not what he's being judged on at all, I don't think. And so it's just an interesting kind of dynamic where the way that like he's going to lose his minutes is not because of what he's scoring or anything like that.
But the problem there though, where I was just like, the problem there is like, all right, if you're just grading him on vibes, then he's never going to lose his spot. Like if you're just grading him on, Redick likes having a point guard out there because it's an extension of the way that he views the game or whatever. It's like, okay, so you're going to continue to put a player who doesn't really help all that much, isn't impacting the game statistically. I just don't, and like if you're saying, oh, well, he offers point of attack defense, not a single player in the NBA cares that he's there. Not one. Like he is never, I have never seen him. It'd be one thing if he was like a Jose Alvarado who is short, but really like legitimately bothers players, right? Because he hand checks so much. You never know where he's going to come from. By the way, he got really badly hurt tonight. Hope he's okay, Alvarado. But like, there's this, when I watch Gabe play defense, it's like you're not bothering anybody. Tonight he got beat on like 3 straight back cuts and committed fouls on 2 of them. You don't help rebounding. The Lakers have enough offensive initiation and organization between LeBron and Luca and Austin. I'm good here.
Yeah.
Give those minutes to Adu.
Yeah, I love that you brought up Jose Alvarado because I think it's a perfect kind of comparison where I remember earlier in the show you were talking about how sometimes like, you notice Vando too much. You're like, why do I notice him every time down the floor? I think JJ just likes a kind of high floor, low ceiling kind of. He's not going to pop, but Gabe is just going to make the right skip pass. He's going to make the right read in terms of where he's supposed to be on defense. He's going to try to take the charge. And sometimes your size is your size, right? And eventually that gets created to a point where I think, especially in high leverage games, that's something that teams really pick on. But just from an everyday 82 game regular season, I think they just like having a veteran out there that he doesn't need any touches, will never call for the ball, will never try to do anything to up his own stats, is just going to play the right way every single possession. And I think they like that. Now, is that the correct move? Like, I would have loved to sing Adu in for Gabe in one of those units because I think we just needed the athletic pop, but he's earned the coach's trust. So yeah, to your point, I'll be interested to see what would change that in terms of rotation wise.
Ryan Lucas says, sounds like Giannis to LA is not out of reality. I think it all just kind of comes down to the Lakers' willingness to include Reaves. And I think there are plausible points to be made for either side of this.
Sure,
like I like even while I personally probably wouldn't put Reaves on the table for Giannis, you also aren't getting Giannis without putting Reaves on the table. So like you got to ask yourself, or the Lakers are going to have to ask themselves, because even after the season, right? Even after the season on draft night, when they can trade 3 first-round picks, I don't think 3 future picks from an organization that has Giannis and Luca and Austin in it is going to fetch you, what you're looking for.
Yeah, but that's the case wherever you send Giannis, right? Like I've heard that argument of where the Lakers picks really don't matter. Well, if you send them to San Antonio, it's the same thing. You want to pair Giannis with Wemby, you want those picks.
Well, but then you're getting Harper or
you get
Castle.
I guess you get Harper or Castle. But I'm just saying in terms of the pick value for Milwaukee, I feel like it's pretty similar. So then it goes back to, what does Milwaukee want out of this?
Well, I think San Antonio could technically offer picks that aren't their own. I think San Antonio has a decent draft cache of picks that aren't San Antonio picks. Like OKC, right? If you were to trade Giannis to OKC, I wouldn't want OKC's picks back. I would want some of their non-OKC picks because they clearly aren't falling off anytime soon.
Yeah, that's fair. But does Giannis want to go to San Antonio? That's the other question. So
I don't know.
I think he's going to be able to pick.
I hope not, because that team would be fucking terrifying.
Yeah, as long as Oklahoma City is not on that list,
they would be the first ever team to shut out an opponent from the paint. No points scored in the paint for an entire game between Giannis and Wemby.
Yeah, don't go there.
I just saw you picture it in your head.
Yeah, I did. Oh no, don't want no part of that. I saw Wemby by himself.
Final one here, Brandon Omeng. When Smart is back, no more Gabe minutes. I'd rather DK Vando or Adu over him. He's too small and his shot selection is ridiculous. At least you get more size. Disagree on DK or Vando in this case, especially if Smart is back. But I do think that when Smart gets back, Gabe should be like a 10-minute a night player. I don't know what he's averaging right now without Smart in the lineup, but I think his minutes should drop to like 1 shift or, a split shift, basically. I don't see the purpose that Gabe brings.
Yeah, it feels like he's been kind of the off guard. So whenever and he's the starter, right? Whenever LeBron, Luca, and AR are out, Gabe's going to start. And I think that kind of keeps their rotation whole. I'm guessing that's kind of JJ's thinking. And again, he throws in a player that he just knows I don't have to worry about.
Except he's wrong.
No, but I mean, the volatility of Gabe is like the production obviously doesn't match who other people you can put in a lineup, but the volatility of it, yeah, Gabe's just gonna be Gabe Vincent every single night. Now that's annoying. That can be annoying to watch from a fan perspective. Like, can you get 5 points sometimes when other guys are out? But I think Gabe Vincent goes into it like, my job is not to score. My job is to make the right pass, is to play off of all these ball handlers and do my job in that capacity. So, but no, I'm with you. I think Adu should start rising in minutes. I don't know where those come from. If those come from Gabe, DK, I feel like they've been trying to give Dalton his shot, and it's just not passing. And Vando looks like he's completely just out. He might as well sit on the other side because where the coaches are, he's not playing any.
Do you think he's even like a first row assistant coach? Do you think he'd be second row?
He'd be first row. Come on. He's on the team. He's got a little literal contract. Got to be first row.
Here's one thing I'll say about Vando, because it's easy to like dunk on him and give him shit.
Yeah, the rim is lowered very far. Like it's very easy to dunk.
He still can't dunk on it, but it's lowered very far. But I do think he deserves a ton of credit, because I haven't heard a single instance behind the scenes that I've spoken to, like anybody I've spoken to who's been like, he's been a problem, I do think there's frustration there. I do think he would prefer to be in the rotation. I do think there is some frustration in terms of the way that he is used. Like, if you're going to switch as much as you're going to switch, you may as well not have Vando on your team. And I think he and his kind of people know that to a certain extent. But that said, he hasn't let that leak out and affect the vibes of this team. And, we just talked about Chris Paul, who I think deservedly, let it be known, hey, stop losing. We need to stop losing. But I haven't heard a single instance where Vando has been a problem.
It's funny because if you tie this together, right, Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton kind of went in different ways with this, right? Chris Paul left the Suns, Ayton left the Suns, and Ayton's reputation kind of cratered after that, right? It was kind of like he's been a problem. But I think winning kind of makes all this, like, winning's the cure all, right? Like Vando can't, like, I'm not trying to take away any credit for him of being the good soldier here. It's very tough to complain when your team is 16-5, right? Like if the Clippers let go of Chris Paul and they were 16-5, everyone would go, "What the hell is wrong with Chris Paul?" Right?
Yeah.
But they're not, because the Clippers are 5-16, so they go, "What the hell is wrong with the Clippers?" And so I think like your record and like the team winning kind of dictates a lot of this, and that's why like Ayton being who he is now, I think it works a lot better on a team that's winning. It's much easier, and I'm sure that works with Vando, and I'm sure that works with Chris Paul as well. So yeah, I think winning kind of cures a lot of this and makes a lot of the situations what they are. But yeah, I find that I think it's good that Vando's been the good soldier, but again, I think it's much tougher to make any issues when your team is playing well.
I'm trying to see if we have any update on LeBron's availability for tomorrow.
I'd be shocked if he plays. Like I'd be shocked.
Because he played a bunch of minutes in this one too, right? So
yeah, they might. I mean, the NBA, I don't know what they're doing, but putting Lakers, like, you have one job. Like all the other games,
Celtics, both teams coming off a back-to-back.
Yeah, like I understand other games, but Lakers Celtics you put on a back-to-back.
Raj, they aren't even playing at rivalry week. The NBA has this stupid rivalry week thing a little bit later in the year, and the Lakers and the Celtics aren't playing that week.
I have not followed the rival. Who was our rival last year in rivalry?
Dallas. No, I think Dallas is the rival this year, but
okay.
The Warriors usually like sneak a Warriors game in there, or like a Clippers game or something. But yeah, like it's just nuts. It makes no sense. The Celtics rested Jaylen Brown tonight, so he'll be probably available for that tomorrow. I'd be surprised.
He was out with the illness, I believe, today.
Yeah, but first night of a back-to-back. Because the second night they're playing the Lakers, so yeah, It's a bummer. It's a real bummer. And like, obviously, like, not upset at like Luca's partner for having a kid the night before just shortly before the Lakers play the Celtics. So like, I don't even hold it against Luca for wanting to be with his family after they welcome a kid. It's just unfortunate timing.
Right.
All right, man. That's going to do it here for this episode of the Lakers Lounge podcast and this week's episodes here in the lounge. I am not going to be recording tomorrow because I'm traveling to El Paso to see my family. My tia's turning 70. Shouts to Tia Berta. And then I will be back, though, Sunday. I'm going to bring my computer and stuff with me just in case the Lakers beat the Celtics tomorrow and it's like a high vibes game or something like that. We'll see. But Raj, anything that you want to plug before we get you out of here?
No, excited to get into the film on this one. Before we go out, did you watch that Warriors loss, by the way?
Well, they're playing without Draymond.
No,
Steph,
Draymond
and
played.
Jimmy.
Steph didn't play.
No,
but
Draymond got hurt early in the game.
Oh, I see. Well, they came back from like a 20-point deficit, took the lead, and then lost on a tip-in. I feel like bad teams
to Edgecombe, right?
Yeah, to
Edgecombe, like
Edgecombe,
tipped
yes.
in like an air ball, right?
Yes. And I just that compared with the Lakers winning on a game winner, it reminds me how like bad teams just find a way to lose and good teams find a way to win. So they're back under 500. The Warriors are like, I feel like
I was looking at like their standings. They're 11 and 12. They're in the 8th seed in the West.
And this was after like Steph Curry was averaging like 38 for a week, like carrying them to I think 4 games over 500. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting.
The Mavs have been better lately. They've won 3 in a row.
Yeah.
I'm really curious who the 9 and 10 seed is going to be, because I don't think Golden State is going anywhere. I think Phoenix is legit good. I think they're going to be in there like in that 7 range. Minnesota, I think they're going to be just fine. Denver, I think they're going to be just fine. San Antonio winning without Wemby is kind of terrifying because he's eventually going to come back. And then you have the top 3, Houston, the Lakers, and OKC. But I do kind of wonder, like, will the Mavericks kind of continue to climb? Anthony Davis is starting to play more center. And that's kind of shocking, Raj. It's unlocked their team. Anthony Davis playing center.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have none of the others healthy. Gafford might. I don't know if Gafford's healthy.
He just sprained his ankle. Gafford did.
Okay.
And then Lively is getting a second opinion on his ankle, which is never a good sign. You don't normally talk to a second doctor if you like the news that the first one gave you. So you have that going on. Utah is going to start to lose. The Clippers suck. They're going to blow it up. The Kings are a joke. And then the Pelicans are 3-20. So I think Dallas has a decent chance to jump up there. I think eventually Memphis is going to slide. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we'll see. Have a good one, everybody. Be safe this weekend. I will talk to you guys. Well, I will record a preview for tomorrow's Lakers Celtics game, and I will record a recap for Offside after the game. But chances are I'm probably not going to be able to record a post-game show here in the lounge after that one. If I do, I'll bug Raj and maybe we'll get together. And if they win, maybe. If they lose, almost definitely not. But if they win, maybe. I'll say that. Have a good one, everybody. Come on. There we go.